If you're a modern gamer, you know one thing. Ports are commonplace. Ports are a way for third-party companies and even first-party companies to beef up a system's library within the first year or two, because let's face it, a lot of people aren't going to develop something for the ground up for a brand new system. It's just a risk, and with the way that video game budgets are doing in 2018 and have been the past few years, it's a risk that a lot of companies can't take. But you still have this mentality of people that just don't like ports and they freak out over ports. Ports! Ports! There's too many ports! There's too many ports! And I'm kind of sitting here like, hey man, ports are cool. It's a great way to beef up a system's library. Not every gamer plays every game that releases on every system. And sometimes games just resonate better on a certain platform than they do on others. For whatever reason, I never really got heavy into Rocket League on the PS4, but on the Nintendo Switch, it's one of my go-to games. So I enjoy ports. I actually want more ports to come to the Nintendo Switch. The whole portability aspect really works for me. So I want to see more of the games that I love and want to play more of on the Nintendo Switch. So in this video, we're going to talk about ports, and I want more ports. I want to see more ports to the Nintendo Switch in 2018. So let's highlight some games I want to see ported to the Nintendo Switch in 2018.
Hey, RGT 85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards! So the first game we're going to talk about is a game that I'm not even sure why it's not on the Nintendo Switch yet. If we believe anything that we read on the internet, which sometimes we should, sometimes we shouldn't, it was rumored that this was the game that Capcom was using as a benchmark for the Nintendo Switch. Supposedly, Capcom told Nintendo, hey, your system needs to be powerful enough to run this engine on your platform, or else we're not going to work with it. So Nintendo allegedly beefed up the system specs to make this engine run. And here we are, and the game is still not here, and that's Resident Evil 7. Yes, Resident Evil 7 came out over a year ago, but I think if you do like a DLC pack where it has all the DLC included in the game along with the Resident Evil 7 game, I think people would be really stoked on that. You have to look at horror games on the Nintendo Switch. You're starting to see a lot more, and there must be a reason for it. You've got games like Hollow, Outlast, you have Layers of Fear coming to the Nintendo Switch, so obviously there's a market for the horror games. Capcom themselves even said that the Resident Evil Revelations collection sold very well on the Nintendo Switch, and those are really old games, but they're still super fun. Actually, Resident Evil Revelations 2 Raid Mode is one of my most played online experiences on the Nintendo Switch. I just love it. It's such a fun game. So to see Resident Evil 7 come along for the Nintendo Switch just makes sense, especially when you look at the history of it. You could add in motion controls to the game that would help with the gun segments in it, and it would just be a really fun experience, and an experience that honestly just makes sense. So Capcom, where's my Resident Evil 7 on the Switch with all the DLC? I want it, and I want it now, and I want it in 2018. The next game is available on other platforms, and it kind of confuses me as to why it's not on the Nintendo Switch. And that is the Batman Arkham Trilogy, consisting of Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Origins. Now, these three games were awesome games. They really brought superhero games sort of back from the grave. They were just amazing experiences. Definitely Arkham City was my favorite. That was a game I played all the way through, completed everything, and I just loved every second of that game. It was so much fun. And the other two games were good as well. They, for what they were. And it's a shame that these games haven't been ported to the Nintendo Switch, because the system is powerful enough to run these games. Hell, the Wii U ran 2 of those games on there. And I understand that it's sort of an HD collection. You could clean up some of the textures on the Nintendo Switch. That's totally cool. Put those 3 games on one cartridge and then put them on the Nintendo Switch. Or if you have to do some download crap because you want to be cheap and not use a bigger cartridge size, I guess that's fine too. But to be able to play these games on the go would just be an amazing experience. And a lot of people, for whatever reason, might not have played this game. So to be able to play all 3 of the Arkham games on one collection would just be awesome on the Nintendo Switch. It's available on other systems. Bring it to the Nintendo Switch. What are you doing? The next game I want to talk about is a game that I recently reviewed on the channel for the PS4, and that is Mutant Football League. Now, Mutant Football League is the spiritual successor to Mutant League Football. It's a very arcadey, over-the-top football game with a lot of deaths and, crazy limbs flying off and all sorts of stuff, but it's actually a very fun game. It's a very affordable game at just $20, and it's a game I've really been enjoying. But it kind of doesn't make sense that it didn't come to the Nintendo Switch. I guess when you look at the development process of the game, it was was a Kickstarter game with the PS4 and the Xbox and Steam in mind, so I guess it does make a little sense as to why the Nintendo Switch wasn't given any thought to it. But this game was developed in Unity, and Unity is easily portable to the Nintendo Switch. This isn't a super graphically taxing game, and the Switch has no football games on it, and I really liked Mutant Football League. I think it's a hell of a lot of fun, and it's a game that really resonates with retro gamers. And what do retro gamers seem to be picking up lately? The Nintendo Switch, because there's a lot of retro styled stuff on the system. So Mutant Football League is definitely a game I want to see ported to the Nintendo Switch, and I think it would actually sell very well on the system. If you want to do a physical copy with some extra goodies in it to, you know, maybe raise up the price like people like to do with the Switch tax, cool, do it. An extra 10 bucks, whatever. It's an awesome game, and definitely a game I want to see on the Nintendo Switch. This next game is already out for the Nintendo Switch, so why am I talking about it? Because it's not out in America, it's only out in Japan, and that of course is Monster Hunter Double Cross. Alright, Monster Hunter is on an all-time high right now. Monster Hunter World, an amazing game. I probably won't review it because of time constraints, but it's just an awesome game that I've been dabbling in and having a lot of fun. It's selling very well as well, so a lot of people are focused on Monster Hunter right now. So the fact that Monster Hunter Double Cross was brought to the Nintendo Switch and only released in Japan just makes me even more confused. Why would you not just do a translation and bring it to the States? Obviously people want Monster Hunter. The PS4 and the Xbox One still do not allow Monster Hunter on the go. So having Monster Hunter Double Cross is sort of like a side game. Don't even take away the attention off of Monster Hunter World. Obviously that had a bigger budget. Obviously that's a game that you guys are focused on, but have it as a supplementary thing. A Monster Hunter experience on the go, and then down the road decide if you want to build one up for the Nintendo Switch from the ground up. Why not just port it? Like seriously, do the translation, bring it stateside. It will sell, Capcom. It will sell. Stop wasting time. Bring Monster Hunter Double Cross to the States. It's easy, baby. What is a Nintendo Switch port list without at least one Wii U game on it? You know, we're getting a lot of Wii U ports on the system. Me personally, I probably won't be picking up many of them. Games like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, I played that game to death on the Wii U. I don't need to revisit it again. Maybe when I see it for 20 bucks, I'll re-pick it up. But one game that I think would actually benefit from being on the Switch, one game that would actually, you know, be better by being on the Nintendo Switch is, of course, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Look, Xenoblade Chronicles X was an awesome game. I love the settings, I love the scales, I loved all of the gameplay within that game. But there was a problem with that game, and it wasn't a huge problem for me, but it did bother some people. This game was a bit too technically advanced for the system. There was stuff like loading times and bad pop-up, and they actually did texture packs to alleviate that you could download onto your Wii U's hard drive to make things flow a bit better. And I think to myself, as I'm standing here, I'm like, just put it on a Switch cartridge. Like, what are you doing? Put this whole game on a Switch cartridge. Clean up the graphics a little bit. Include those texture packs that you had on there and have an awesome Xenoblade Chronicles experience anywhere you go. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 just came out and it's selling very well. The original Xenoblade resonates very well with people. Xenoblade Chronicles X was a pretty big departure from the style, the gameplay style of those two games with a more futuristic and modern setting. And personally, I liked it a bit more. So I would love to see Xenoblade Chronicles X be ported over to the Nintendo Switch. There have been rumors about it. Why not just make it happen? Let's get this going, Monolith and Nintendo. This would be an awesome thing to have in 2018, and hopefully something that is being worked on. The final game I want to talk about is arguably the biggest game on this list as of right now. This is a game that people are streaming, a game that is being talked about very highly, and it's actually a game I've been enjoying on both my PS4 and my Xbox One, and that is Fortnite. Now, Fortnite is a very interesting game. It takes that PUBG formula, but it does one thing that I really like. It's free. It's free to download and play this game, and you can have a great experience with the free version of this game that, honestly, there's nothing really that rivals it in my opinion. Sure, PUBG might be a little more, you know, realistic in terms of settings and graphics and stuff, but I like Fortnite enough to not want to be able to pick up PUBG because that costs money, and this is free. And I'm pretty cheap. So Fortnite is a game that deserves to come into the Nintendo Switch. It's a game that can clearly run on the system when you look at the graphical style of the system. It's nothing too pressing, it's nothing too taxing, it's just a cartoony style game that would look fine on the Nintendo Switch. The online infrastructure might take a little work. I don't know, you know, that sort of stuff, you know, having 99 players all at once, but I don't see why it would be that big of a deal. Even the most basic online service should be able to be constructed on the Nintendo Switch. And yes, this is a bit more advanced, but I could see it being easily done on the Nintendo Switch, especially when the paid service comes into effect. But I want it sooner than that, because I think Fortnite is a really fun game, and it's definitely a game that a lot of people should experience. And there's no reason for it not to be on the Switch. If you look at the mobile market, especially in China, there are PUBG and Fortnite clones all over the place. So it's not a matter of specs, it's not a matter of the game not being able to run on the system, it's just a matter of bringing the game to the system. So Fortnite, where are you? I want you on my Switch. Alright, and that's just a handful of games that I would like to see ported to the Nintendo Switch in 2018. In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with ports. It's supplemental content. It's additional games to go alongside with the mainstays, the new stuff. You're getting a lot of interesting games from Nintendo this year and third-party developers. Why not add more? Why not add more fun? More games for everyone. Thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know what games you would like to see ported to the Nintendo Switch in 2018, or one of those people who just like throws stuff when you hear the word ports, like the guy did in my little intro. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.
RGT 85! RGT!